Sweet succulent eggy weggies of the omelette, good morrow. Tommy is still stateside and all of the big reveals from E3 are done and dusted. I, your bearded brother-in-arms Bongeh, have decided to do a little rundown of the top 10 games that really canoodled my noodle this year at E3. To begin, we'll start with something a little bit piratey. Well, actually it's quite a lot piratey, it's Sea of Thieves. A multiplayer co-op experience with pirate ships, skelebobs, sharks, swashbuckling and more. I'm looking forward to learning more about the world, the PvP and the scope of this game. Put plainly, this game is making my beard tingle. Next up we have Mafia 3. The initial announcement trailer looked out of hand, and having now seen gameplay, I'm fully on board to shotgun the fuck out of some scumbags. The setting for the story has me interested. A 1960s crime drama, a Vietnam vet with a shotgun who's on a revengey warpath. In summary, Mafia 3 looks solid, and I want it. Titanfall 1 was, for me, a huge favourite back in 2014. I've personally had the chance to play Titanfall 2 at EA Play in London, and it feels just as good as the first, but with more. More weapons for the pilots, more game modes, more titans, more customisation, and a single player campaign. I love that this franchise is getting more fleshed out. That's it, Respawn. Fatten up that little piggy. Ooh, yum.
Protect the pilot.
Dishonored was fan-fucking-tastic, and Dishonored 2 looks to only improve upon the foundations built by the first game. There seems to be lots of room for individualistic playstyles, featuring stealth, non-stealth, brutal and supernatural powers. The story continues on from the first game, so if you haven't played that before, I highly recommend playing it through before November, because it's bloody good. Very few things lately have made me want to rummage around by my TV and find my Wii U controller. 2017 may be a long way off, but Breath of the Wild looks like it'll be great fun. Sadly, it seems the game runs in 720p. Perhaps when the Nintendo NX gets released we'll see a graphical jump, if only in resolution. For me, since the days of the N64, Zelda games have been very well made and thoroughly enjoyable. From the footage shown at E3, I don't see anything to make me doubt the enjoyment that I'm going to get from this, so roll on 2017. Speaking of 2017, there's an absolute Valentine's treat coming. For Honor revealed a single-player campaign and gameplay footage at E3, as well as its romantic release date. It's been quite some time since I've had a concrete melee game in my hands, and I'm feeling a mixed bag of emotions right now. Memories of Dynasty Warriors, War of the Roses and Chivalry all mixed into one. I want For Honor's single-player campaign, and I want its competitive multiplayer modes, and I want them now! My only issue now is I don't know what I want to play more. A noble knight, a fearless Viking, or an honourable samurai. Maybe I'll just have to play all three. For the next game, Sony blindsided me, and I'm fine with that. God of War has been a title that both me and Tommy have thoroughly enjoyed over the years, and this reboot seems to have a Norse setting as opposed to the Greek one we're used to. Norse mythology is just as rich and fantastical as Greek, so I've no worries there. And Kratos is still Spartan, as we can see when he activates his Spartan Rage and punches the shit out of a giant troll. The graphics look awesome, and hopefully the combat system is nice and expansive and expands as we venture through the story with Kratos and his son. Really looking forward to this. Please don't make us wait too long, Sony. Please. I loved the look of this game last year, and now having seen even more gameplay, that love is only growing. Gorgeous visuals and what looks like some nice RPG elements. I kind of get a nice Far Cry vibe from this game, but with enhanced combat and mechanics. The contrast of tribal humans and mechanical nature has me hooked, and I can't wait to slay some robo-deers and possibly be maimed and horribly killed by a giant mechanical tree or something. Another incredible Sony surprise, much like a Shire surprise, this game has plenty of death in its eyes. Zombies? Yes, a zombie third-person action game. Personally, it looks to me like Last of Us had a baby with Left 4 Dead and Francis was the father. Beautiful graphics, again, obscene amounts of zombies on screen swarming towards the player. The animations I thought looked really good, even though apparently they're placeholder, and there's lots of different ways to massacre the zombies, with guns, melee, objects in the world, and even though it's a post-apocalyptic zombie story, and that's kind of starting to feel a little bit overdone for me, the scale of the zombie hordes gives Days Gone a free pass in my opinion. Really looking forward to seeing more of this, hopefully in the near future. Finally then, my most anticipated game from this year's E3, of course, it's Battlefield 1! I was very lucky to play this down in London at EA Play, and as many of you know, Tommy took part in the multiplayer livestream event in Los Angeles. After only having a taste of about 15 or 20 minutes on a map set in France, I can't wait to play more. I spent the entire time in a Renault FT, and I bloody loved it, but I'm kicking myself for not having tried out more as there's so much to try. It really does feel like a true successor to the Battlefield franchise. It's an IP in its own right. The destruction is superb, the animations of getting into your vehicles, the visuals, the landscapes, and some lovely hot melee. Many of you lovely eggs found us through Battlefield 4, and I'm incredibly excited for the opportunity to kill you all dead in the World War I setting. Lastly, before we finish, some honourable mentions. The Last Guardian, the giant flying bird dog becomes infatuated with a small boy. Recore, lovely lass befriends orbs and creates some happy robotic friends. We happy few. Small Team makes a game that looks remarkably like Bioshock, and that's fine. Ghost Recon Wildlands. Well, I picked it last year and the multiplayer co-op will be a lark. Mass Effect Andromeda. Not Shepard goes to a new galaxy called Andromeda. And finally, Fee. Another EA indie title like Unraveled, puzzly platformer with an artsy setting. Lovely. And that's it, that's all the games. Last year me and Tommy only picked 3 each, but this E3 has been jam-packed with scrumptious game eye candy. Lots of these games are coming in October/November this year, and that makes me feel very warm inside. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my selection, if you think I've missed any glaringly fabulous games you'd have put into your list, or if any of the games I've picked don't tickle your pickle. Until next time,